Indiana. This is an NCAA men's volleyball championship semifinal match. Stanford versus Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Welcome, volleyball fans. This is Jerry McManamah and Wes Lyon ready to start the semifinal round of the 1992 men's NCAA volleyball championships. In comes the Stanford Cardinals with a 23-3 record, ranked #1 in the nation in the final coaches poll, and IPFW Fort Wayne with a 27-7 record, ranked 7th in the final poll. The Cardinals are the at-large bid, and Fort Wayne is the 3rd seed. Both finished well in their playoffs. WIVA championships for Stanford Cardinals was 14-2, and the IPFW Mastodons finished 6-0 in the Midwest Intercollegiate Volleyball Association. We have 5 All-Americans entering into this game, 3 from Stanford and 2 from Fort Wayne, West. So this should be an outstanding match this evening.
Well, I look for it to be the premier match of these semifinals here at the 1992 NCAA tournament, because you've got a team here in Stanford who is the #1 ranked team in the country, and you're bringing in a team from the Midwest, IPFW, who currently ranks 7th, but is a team that many observers feel, could compete for a national championship. And with the fan support, I think you're going to see the local area giving these guys. It could be a real brouhaha out here.
Yeah, when they introduced the Fort Wayne team, of course, we heard a large roar. We're only 65 miles up the interstate. Here we are starting the game with Stanford serving, and we get a side out to start with for IPFW Fort Wayne. Mastodons gain that first side out with Raul Papaleo going back to serve now for the Mastodons. Floater serve by Papaleo. Seaman with the set. And a kill by John Bezmalovic. Sends Dave Goss, one of the All-Americans from Stanford, back to serve, clear off a court. Trouble with the first pass. Ramon Almodovar with an attack. And a kill for the first point of the match by Duncan Blackman as the Stanford Cardinals get on the board first, 1-0.
Let's talk about Duncan Blackman right there, one of those All-Americans you were mentioning. And they're going to go to him an awful lot here as he averages almost 5 kills a game.
With Blackman and Goss, that's who they're going to go to.
Excellent kill right there by Craig Collins. IPFW having a little problem passing right there. Lloyd Ball having to chase down the first 2 or 3 balls, but a kill, and Collins goes back to serve.
Collins just a rookie to the game, basically. In comes Goss, Dave Goss, one of the All-Americans, and flags the first one long and out of bounds as IPFW pulls into a 1-1 tie. Collins again serving. Moose pass. Seaman backs that to Blackman, who flags the ball out of bounds.
I think one thing you're going to see from IPFW is they're going to go pressure on pressure right here. They're never going to let up during this particular game. With a fiery coach like Arnie Ball, he's going to make sure that they stay on top of things at all times.
Arnie's coached many of these Stanford players, so knows them pretty well by heart, coaching a couple of the international teams. Nice hit coming back out of that by Blackman off the top of the block, out of bounds.
And with that kind of player right there, Blackman with a couple hitting errors early, but they go right back to him in that right side set for a kill.
Again, it's always good to go back to that person who just made that error to get their confidence back up rather than avoiding them. John Bezmalovic with the serve. Stuffed block on Tom Junkie. Junkie really is fairly short. He's 6'3", but he's fairly short when you get into volleyball standards anymore. Nice floater serve. Raul Papaleo, perfect pass. Back set to Collins. Collins a little bit out of control, flying into the stand, and really didn't get a good vertical, Wes.
And right now, Lloyd Ball trying to keep that ball, it looks like a little bit out of the left side there, going middle or right side on most of the play sets to this point in the match.
Overpass. Ball with a smart tip behind his head, puts it in play, receives the free ball back. Look out on free ball. Right on ball. Ball attempts to tip. 6'8" Lloyd Ball, All-American for the Mastodons, taking the ball up there about 2 foot above the net, but they were right on him.
I think the Cardinal is really going to key in that particular play right there, because Lloyd Ball can just totally dominate front court with the type of height he has and his setting ability.
Passing troubles again by the Mastodons. Gets him down 5-2 here quickly. Not passing the ball well to start with. They're going to have to iron that out fairly quickly, Wes.
Looks like we're going to have a little ploy here, trying to delay the game here by Neil Day. Went down for the shoe tie, but they'll go back to serve right now as John Besmelanovic goes back.
Overpass again. Right off of Lloyd Ball's face. Killed by Duncan Blackman, and Arnie Ball calls a quick timeout, smart timeout. 6-2, getting off not too good of a passing start, Wes.
I think, Arnie Ball in this situation, the 6-2, you just got to call your timeout, get the team calmed down, get them refocused. Stanford's serving a ball really, really deep in the court, and they're having a problem handling it right now. If they can get that ball to Lloyd Ball, he'll know what to do with it, and they should be able to relax a little bit.
Let's look at this last point here.
Once again, a real deep serve, drives the passer back. Lloyd Ball have nothing to do with the set right there. Off the block, out of bounds.
That deep serve that Papaleo had to pass, that's the tendency because you're passing it such a long way. Quite often you overpass, and that's a kiss of death in this game to overpass the ball, just to hit one-on-one there. This is the Mastodons' second straight NCAA tournament. They were in last year, finishing third, and in this year for the second time. Nice pass by Almodovar, and the block again comes through. Almodovar trying to cut just inside, and Duncan Blackman at the last moment drops that inside left hand and took that inside shot away from him. Quickly a 7-2 lead for the Cardinals from Stanford. Great pass here. We ought to get a side out. Whoa. Collins, Craig Collins, got to be impressive. Hasn't played ball that long. Just a great raw talent hitting out of that back right position. And
one of the first times there that they got a pass that Ball could really do something with, and they went to the right side back row and successful.
When you're not passing very well, that's the worst thing to do is come right back and serve that ball into the net or out of bounds to give them the ball back right away. You can't get the monkey off your back when you do that. It just makes the game tough. Jump attack, serve. Great save at the net by Lloyd Ball. The ball was passed a little tight and almost over, and Lloyd took a great tight one and was able to get a quick hit out of it to his attacker.
Certainly a benefit of being 6'8" and getting up like that. That's 2 in a row there for IPFW, as they're still having the first game NCAA jitters here.
Canyon Seaman, the setter for Stanford, is back. Another jump server. Short. Almodovar. Ball tips it over. He gets a free ball out of it. That's our first left side hit we've seen.
Yeah, we see Papaleo going up right there. Papaleo is only a 6'1" player in the world of giants out here in NCAA volleyball anymore. To be successful, you've got to really be able to get up and go after it. He just did right there.
He's a great swing hitter. Swung out to the left and hit. Oh, 4 hits called. That was a great block, though, beside. The Mastodons were right on that. Had 3 blockers on that combination play. However, it was called for 4 hits. Moves with the pass. Block, shoves it back for the Mastodons. However, we get a net air.
Unfortunate play right there, because at this point, Dave Goss, one of the premier hitters in the country, is certainly having his problems connecting.
Papaleo again. Papaleo, when he's on the move, it's very tough to block one of those hitters when you're on the move and really swinging around, because your block can't get set, and he's tough at it.
Yeah, and with these two teams having not met, that kind of player can really hurt your block.
Out of bounds. Out of bounds attack by John Besmelanovic. All right, the Mastodons from IPFW are starting to get a little momentum now if they can keep that ball in on the serve. Collins serving. Nice pass by Moose. That's why Dave Goss is probably All-American. He set an NCAA record this year of 55 kills in a match against UCLA.
It was just a moment ago we thought he was having problems getting on track.
Ryan Moose, top spin serve, out of bounds wide. Raul Papaleo back to serve for his second rotation round. Going for a short serve. Nice pass by Moose. And Goss again. I think Goss is going to get quite a few balls here.
I think IPFW, though, has kind of settled down just a little bit. I think they had a little problem there. I thought they could capitalize on Loy Ball being in the front row at the start of the match, and were unable to.
Ball having to move back to 10 feet. Nice set to Norman Almodovar, who hits the ball off the block and then off of the antenna. So they are starting to pick up, Wes. That's nice to see, and it's about a point where you want to start doing that. And they've settled down now. Moose with a nice pass again. A little bit of a low set by Seaman, and Goss hits the ball wide.
Yeah, I'm convinced here IPFW keep things close. This crowd is certainly going to go behind them and try and bring them a victory.
They've got a big following here tonight, and I'm sure it will. Duncan off of that block. Duncan Blackman. Here's where they got all their points before, with Bezmalovic serving. Still not passing well. Ball having to come back about mid-court makes it tough. Nice hit by Almodovar off of the block, though. Blackman.
Duncan Blackman going a little bit soft right there. IPFW pulls to 7-5.
Blackman trying to intimidate the official by acting like it was off the top of the block, but wouldn't be done. Great shot by John Rebar on a nice cutback. That's the first he's been set tonight, and a nice cutback with a quick set from Kenyon Seaman.
I think we're starting to get into a situation in this game where we have two teams that really can play side-out volleyball. They're very similar teams with the type of athlete they have. We could have quite a long first game right here.
One-on-one, Almodovar. Speaking of similar teams, that was one thing that was brought out at the press conference on Wednesday. Both coaches felt that they were almost identical teams. They have not faced each other this year, but both Ruben Nieves, who's a Coach of the Year by the AVCA, felt that he and Arnie Ball's Mastodons were identical. With a service ace. Norman Almodovar serving. Blackman killed by John Rebar.
And there's one thing we see there is it's going to end up being a lot of one-on-one blocks in the middle right there. Is they're going to try and keep those outside hitters honest right there.
Jump serve ace. Another thing that came out at the press conference was that Stanford feels that they've always got to have about 3 out of the 6 who are jump serving. Never necessarily the same ones, but they've got 3 people now jump serving. They got their 1 point out of it.
They sure did. That jump serve really adds a different dimension to the game right there. It just speeds everything up so quickly. It's a potentially an automatic point. The passers have trouble with it. Hurts the offense.
Ball back with a jump serve. Seaman back set play to Moose. Kind of a double quick combination.
And what we're seeing out here, we have 2 premier setters in the country, Jerry, with Kenyon Seaman and Loy Ball. Kenyon, a first-team All-American selection this year. Loy Ball in the second team.
And Ball was freshman of the year last year of the NCAA. Pass was tight again, and Ball called for mishandling, but it wasn't his fault. It was all the way across the net, and all he could do is try to save it. Passing still going to be a problem right now. A little bit better, back at 8 foot, and Collins, Day sneaks in behind. Nice back set from Loy Ball, and to Day's credit, he was right there. Got our first sub into the lineup. Chad Blatchley coming in from Glendale, California. 6'4" junior. Moose passing the ball right on the dime.
Great set there by Kenyon Seaman as we see Dave Goss go up there and see what he's all about. He's going to end up in a match like this probably with somewhere between 40 and 50 kills on 70 to 80 different sets.
He's quite a competitor. Jump serve just missing Moose. The jump serve.
We're seeing a lot of premier athletes out here in this particular court. With 5 All-Americans. We're just talking about athletes with 35, 40-inch vertical jumps, able to do a lot of different things. They're just premium athletes.
Stuff block.
Greg Collins there going up for the big stuff right there. Arnie Ball says he's just a major league athlete out there, and when you have those kind of people in the court, you're going to be able to great results like that. Right now, he's getting a lot of mileage out of Collins.
Blackman comes back and gets it back. That's one point of the game, really, that has changed and improved. The quality of athlete now playing this game is really starting to pick up. Goss serving. Papaleo passing back about 10 foot. Collins off at the top of the block. Collins is impressive here in game 1 as IPFW trails in game 1, 7-9. Great hit by John Bismelvik.
And one thing Stanford's been known for is their side out type of volleyball. As we mentioned, about 7-8 minutes ago, that this game could turn into a very long one because we're going to see both teams with great offenses, pounding it down each other's throat.
3 blockers go up, but can't stop him. That's Norman Almodovar starting to warm up a little bit. So at this point, Collins and Almodovar and Papaleo all coming through for IPFW, and Blackman and Goss and Rebar probably carrying the load right now for the Stanford Cardinals.
And the go-to players for Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne have always been Almodovar and Papaleo, and right now they're producing.
Back set by Seaman. Out of bounds by Goss, trying to go down the line. A little bit low, and couldn't get to a broad jump, and do the broad jump with the ball a little long. 8-9, IPFW trailing. Long serve out of bounds by Tom Junkie. Tom from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and a 6'3" senior. Jump serve by Blackman out. Returns the favor. Primarily Blackman and Moose doing the passing for the Cardinals. Jump tip, overpass. Nice block in there and a save. Day went for a tip. Papaleo again.
Great kill by Papaleo, but Jerry, I don't think I've ever seen quite a shot or service we just saw right there. Kind of a jump tip. We've seen a lot of volleyball. We've never seen that. As Stanford is going to take a timeout as IPFW has moved to a 9-9 tie here in game 1. And the crowd here just going crazy over what possibilities could lurk in the future here.
That's right, and Arnie Ball in his 12th year up at Fort Wayne has built a great program. You have great community support up there.
Let's just watch here as IPFW are going up to serve this interesting serve. Stanford has all kinds of problems with it. And we have a little picnic game going on here for just a minute right here. Then Raul Papaleo is going to finalize right here on a great kill.
It's back across his body and off of the block. Great shot. Do you think that jump serve tip was planned, or do you think he just got in the middle and felt like holding up?
Well, I think if you asked him right now, he'd probably tell you it was all by design.
Don't they usually? Norman Almodovar from Puerto Rico, 6'4", sophomore serving. Floater serve. Seaman to the middle to Rebar. John Rebar again. That's about 3 kills for Rebar already.
Interesting setup there. Matching up Lloyd Ball there in the middle blocking position in that particular play. As another major variation in the men's game is the blocking schemes are really a lot different right here. You kind of match up your blocks with who the best players are.
Yeah, a lot of moves being made nowadays on the blocking, moving those blockers all around. It used to be pretty static. You block right side, you block middle, you block left side, but that matching up is an added advantage. As the Mastodons on serve reception gave a point away, but service error by Stanford gives the ball back with Lloyd Ball back to serve now.
Probably a few more serving errors than both coaches like to see here in the middle of the game.
Moose right on the dime with the pass. Moose with the kill on a back set from Seaman.
Seems to be one of Stanford's primary play sets right there as they run 2 players behind the setter and really it's fits for the blockers on this side to decide who they're going to go up on and who's going to get the set.
Yeah, that's on this right side, and Moose is a left-hander, which is his most powerful hitting side. So he's run that second combination over on the right side. Holy cow. Bottom of the net, NCAA championship. You ever seen anybody serve one in the bottom of the net?
No, I haven't, but I've also, that's at least 2 in a row right now, so they're having their problems over there.
They're not playing that well right at the moment. Nice pass from Blackman. Blackman to Seaman.
Interesting call right there. I think really the line judge had a problem seeing that particular ball. But once again, it's the play that Stanford is scoring on an awful lot right there. One-on-one block, and they're putting the ball down there about the 12-foot line every time.
The argument was the ball was hit out, but Wink Davenport, the up official, is overruling the linesman and said it did touch one of the IPFW players. Left-handed jump serve. Ball moving back to about 15 feet. Set Collins. Collins just barely sneaks it inside that middle blocker's hand and puts it down.
I think Arnie Ball has really had a lot of confidence in this Collins kid during the course of the year, and I think it's starting to pay off here.
Another combination play. I'd keep an eye on Dave Goss, I think. I think I would not go up with anybody else and keep an eye on him. He snuck around to get on combination and hit out the middle for a kill. He's putting the ball on the floor regularly. Overpass. Ball.
Great block by Lloyd Ball right there.
But ball is back row.
Potentially could be back row.
No, yes.
Down official Tom Tingle is going to call it. Lloyd Ball doing a crafty job right there. Probably learned that from his dad, that he's actually a back row player who cannot block. And then he went to the front row there acting as if he was front row.
He tried to pull it off, but couldn't pull it off. Blackman's pretty sharp. He knew the ball was backcourt. Backcourt player cannot block, of course, and Ball blocked that ball. Collins is dug, going to Blackman. Nice inside the block. Almodovar makes the play.
Great out by
defense.
Stanford.
Here we go with the free ball. What's going to happen? Out of the middle is Junkie. And Seaman tries to go outside to fake the play and broke the plane of the net. And it's a great rally, great point for IPFW.
Yeah, really a great play right there. As Norman Almodovar seemed to have a nice kill to start with there. Not a kill, but a tip shot there. Stanford with a great play.
Collins again to serve. Going to a different receiver now.
Walk. Oh!
Thing wanted to walk along the net. If we would have blown hard enough, I think that ball would have gone over. If Fort Wayne fans now would have been over in this end, they could have blown on that ball and got it over. It was that tipsy.
Half an inch.
Half an inch. Almost a great play. Nice pass by Papaleo. Good defense by Stanford. However, they don't return it in four. Ryan Moose attempting to get it over.
And I think IPFW, particular rotation here, when Lloyd Ball's front row, a couple of rotations, they rely on him a lot for his offense, and if they're not passing real well, it really is trouble for them.
Papaleo from the back row. Nice dig. What a transition play this one's going to be, and Blackman puts it on the ground. Digs the ball. What a great play. That was a big-time play. Digs the ball.
We're certainly seeing some of the reasons that both these teams have been so successful this year. Players like Blackman, Dave Goss, who are both All-Americans, along with Kenyon Seaman over there. You can see the level of play here is pretty tremendous.
Great pass. Ball with the back tip. And Ball with the block.
Ball is front row on that particular play. He's going to go tell the official Wink Davenport about it right now.
I say I am front row this time. Lloyd Ball, of course, is the son of Coach Arnie Ball. Great pass. Double combination is the same one, but Moose can't get it in this time. Same play over and over again. Two quick hitters on the weak side. And Moose being a left-hander, that's his best side. Almodovar with a top spin serve, jump. Backcourt attack by Goss. A little bit of a Seaman block that time. Volleyball is from Woodburn, Indiana. In fact, IPFW only has 2 Indiana players. Attempt at a short jump serve, just barely tips the top of the net as Canyon Seaman misses. Volleyball back to serve for IPFW.
And this is where IPFW began getting more of their points when Loy was in the back row.
Nice block by Day as he drops his left hand down to stop that. Here goes Goss, cross court. Papaleo attempts. Block gets in the net.
Unfortunate play there for IPFW as Papaleo just took a real shot right there. Brought the ball up, but Mastodons run the net.
It's always discouraging as a digger when you make a play like that and then have somebody get in the net. Nice serve and nice pass. There's Papaleo with his swing hitting. Swinging all the way from that right side position, Wes, all the way over here to the left side, and he's been tremendous so far. Papaleo, All-American, as we said, played on the Puerto Rican junior national team. Fort Wayne knew who was going to get it. They had 3 there, but Goss still gets the ball through and in.
Stanford really has quite a few players that are able to hit angle shots. They really work the inside of the block right here from the outside, and when they set the ball in the middle, they're able to hit the angles.
I think that's one thing you notice about most of the California teams. They do hit really sharp angles. Great hit to Tom Junkie. Nice set from Loy Ball.
Tom Junkie, one of the players that really doesn't get as many sets or the glamours as some of the other players, but he is a great role player out there. Very consistent.
Junkie does block a lot. He's 10th in the nation, ranked 10th in the nation in block, 1.48 blocks per game. Welcome to college volleyball.
I'll tell you what, Arnie Balls, he's going to take a play like that or two during a match if you're getting all the mileage he's getting from Collins right now.
That's right. That was a tough one. That was set about 40 feet cross court and pretty tight, and the block's just waiting on you.
There's another one of those serves. I believe that's the 7th serving error for Stanford in game 1.
11-10 right now. Stanford leads. Collins goes back to serve for IPFW. Blackman with a perfect pass. Blackman with a kill.
Stanford really enjoys that behind the setter type offense, as they're usually having 1, 2, or 3 guys going up behind the setter.
Looks like IPFW has changed their serving strategy a little bit. They were serving Ryan Moose early in the match, and now they've gone over to Blackman and trying to get one of the 2 to break. They're the 2 primary passers, but both right now have been holding up pretty well. Collins from the backboard. Nice set to by Loy Ball to Collins. Collins back row attacker from that right side. That and the jump serve probably the 2 newest things that really changed the game around West. Blackman with another kill.
Yeah, it seems like the jump serve has added a true different dimension, but that right side attack back row has just been it's just turned the whole game of volleyball around. You're adding potentially a 4th hitter, a 5th hitter to the game, and these guys right here are able to hit that ball just as hard and just about anywhere they want to in the court, just as if it was a great set in the front row.
The other advantage is when they're hitting from that side, quite often they're hitting over into the left back or right back of the other team, which is where their setter is. Perfect pass. Here comes Moose on the line. Ryan Moose.
One play we have not seen from IPFW here since early was when Loy Ball was blocked probably the 2nd or 3rd point of the game and has not gone back to it. That's been a major weapon for him.
It sure has. Duncan Blackman with the serve and gets the ace. If there's any probably difference here in the game, Wes, and what I would say is at this point too many service errors, outright errors by Fort Wayne.
Yeah, definitely, and really Stanford has had too many errors too, which got them in trouble in the middle of the game. But right here in the last 3 or 4 points, they've gotten strong once again, and they're making IPFW have to really move for the ball.
Going to take a look at this last service ace.
Once again, a jump serve right here, overpass and out of bounds. Lloyd Ball is the kind of guy, he's so big up there that he thinks he could probably get balls that are pretty close right there. In fact, IPFW tries to pass that ball almost so it's going over the net so that Lloyd can do his magic on the ball.
Right, if you get that ball tight to the net like that and he is front row, that makes it tough on that blocker because he's got to go up with Lloyd, and then Lloyd can dish it off, or if he doesn't, he puts it right down.
And Arnie Ball right now knows this is crunch time for the Mastodons in game 1. Timeout, you need to come back out here and get a side out.
Nice pass out of that serve. Can't put the ball down though, tight one.
And they got the break they're looking for right there. IPFW just having a real hard time in the middle right there. They're not getting it. They're getting the ball by the block, but it's always a deflection, and Stanford's coming back right at him.
Nice serve, tight. Blocked by Ball.
Great play by Canyon Seaman there to bring that ball back.
Here we go with Goss. Looks like a shoulder dig by Junkie, but can't save it. That was a great shot by Goss. He was off about 12 feet and still able to hit an angle shot around the block. Service there. Big point here. Ball goes to the back row, and as you said, they've been able to score a few back when he's back here. They've got to get some points at this point. Lloyd with a jump serve.
They need Papaleo to get back into the game here. Perfect opportunity right now. The free ball.
Chance they've got. However, gets stuffed. You can't do that on a free ball. They get stuffed.
And Lloyd's been going to that middle here, maybe one too many times here in the game 1.
It's like giving a point away when you take a free ball and the other team blocks it. Lloyd Ball back row attack again. The pass was too tight. Tried to save it, touched it, and calling for back row attack, which gives game 1 point to Stanford, leading 14-10. Coach Ball trying to slow the game down a little bit with the sub. Felipe Relat coming in, replacing Junkie. Great pass by Papaleo, and Papaleo into the game, puts the ball down.
I think if this game would end fairly quickly, Arnie Ball is going to need to make sure that they really start going to Papaleo a lot more. I mean, right now he's their big gun. He's been successful, and they've missed a couple opportunities here late in the game.
Blocked by Collins. One-on-one, puts the ball on the floor. That could perk up a team in a hurry. Yeah, they've been going to the middle a little bit. They hadn't been able to put the ball down, and that's hurt them. Dave Goss with the kill. Looks like Moose is going to serve a floater serve this time.
Kind of plays you find out what you're made of right here, down 14-11.
Combination play, and Papaleo. Papaleo with the kill. Raul Papaleo from Lloyd Ball. See who they go at now. They're going short at Moose. Beach dig by Ball. Full swing by Almodovar, but hits the ball long.
I think that's going to be an important factor for IPFW serving that short ball, because it does make the offense slow down a little bit. Right there in that particular service session, Stanford could have run that right side offense again.
Great play out of that one. Wasn't too good of a pass. Ball saved it with a quick set in the middle. They're hanging in there tough, the Mastodons are here in game 1.
3 game points already if they've survived.
Great serve. Kill by Dave Goss. They've been unable to stop him at all this first game.
And it just shows you that offense right there. They set that ball as a back row attack. As long as you take off from behind the 10-foot line, and he almost crashed into the net there with the power that he had coming through the ball.
Nice save by Ball. Could be game point. Go outside to Blackman. Blackman gets it off of the block. Wink Davenport, the up official, calls a touch on Lloyd Ball. First game goes to Stanford, 15-11. However, the Mastodons were in the whole way. Going to have to improve in a few areas. What do you think at this point?
Well, I think primarily they're going to pass a lot better. They had Lloyd Ball, climbing that net there to try and bring balls back every time. I just think if they can relax, get the ball to Ball, he knows what to do with the ball. He'll get it there. He had a couple problems maybe going to the middle early, but you know, he'll get the ball where it belongs. We're watching this last serve right here. Game point. Lloyd Ball makes a great play right here. You know, it's a kind of a ball that could have probably been put straight down. The blockers were just kind of standing still. Look at this right here. Could have probably put that ball down for a kill, but instead they go soft. And anytime you give a great team a free ball, it's a good night. As we'll see, actually out of bounds, but Lloyd Ball gets a touch.
Great shot by Blackman. Blackman and Goss primarily carried Stanford, the Stanford Cardinals. And
well, I just think, you know, one thing is you go through a game right there. Stanford probably had 7, 8, 9 serving errors, but still, every time they lost the ball, they're such a great side out team, they get the ball back. And if IPFW can start serving the ball or passing the ball better, I think you're going to see a whole different type of offense out there. And Papaleo, you know, you just got to go to him.
yeah, really the whole difference for the Mastodons was their breakdown in passing. They gave too many service errors away right away, or excuse me, passing errors. And their reception was not that tough. And besides that, they run Loy all over the court when they're receiving, and they've got to get that together.
I think one thing you'll notice, though, is IPFW has reached a level of play where they're not going to break down, not going to go break down and you know, go in a closet in this type of match.
Here we're going to see the
right here,
ball tip.
Yeah, great tip by Lloyd Ball right here, and he's going to just stand and then go up for a great block.
That's the advantage of being 6'8". Again, 6'8" setter makes Loy very interesting for the USA national team. Loy has been doing some training with them and trained with the national team, practiced with them, and a member of the USA national junior team. So Loy Ball is something that the coaches are going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's looking possibly that 1996 Olympic team. He definitely has an awful lot of potential, and you know, Arnie Ball has really assembled a good team around him for a freshman coming in, and you know, expects a lot of success this year. They've made it to the Final Four and in future years.
Speaking of the Olympic team, I noticed that Blackman and Goss also for Stanford are really interested in making that team too, and they've been involved also in some U.S. national team training, especially Blackman. So we've got some national team caliber players here, Wes.
Sure do. As we look at the official scores here, box score of the first game, we find that IPFW came away with 20 kills on 41 attempts for a hitting average of 268, but about 100 points above them were the Stanford Cardinal with 30 kills and a 373 average. And you know, that kind of average is going to beat you, because Stanford is going to put the ball away most of the time, especially in a side-out type of game.
Blackman and Goss each had 10 kills, so they got really 2/3 of all the kills for Stanford.
And Papaleo with 6 kills and only 7 attempts right there. Hitting 857. He's your go-to man.
You're not kidding. You got to dish the ball to him. He's got to receive that ball a lot.
I'm sure Arnie Ball in the between games there, you know, expressed the thought to his setter that, you know, you probably got to go, you know, 15, 20 times this game to Raul, you know, see how he does, because right now he's their man.
Right. We'll see what happens here starting the game 2 with IPFW trailing. Great block by Ball. All right, the block's starting to come alive, and the officials calling the ball on the ground. Good coverage, though, by Stanford. They're staying on the ball, but two good blocks to start off game 2 here by IPFW. Another block. Felipe Relat, who came in at the tail end of the first game, is starting the second one. He and Amaldavar both combining for blocks.
Great serve right there.
Service ace. Jumped to a 3-0 lead very quickly.
I think Stanford realizes, you know, they're playing a team right here that is capable of coming out here and winning a national championship, and they're going to make sure that they put things to a rest right here, taking an early timeout at 3-0. You know, the crowd can become a factor here at University Arena here. First time the NCAAs have been held here, Jerry, in about 10 years, isn't it?
Right. 1980 was the last that the NCAA championships were here. This is the 4th time that Ball State has hosted the NCAA championships. The only other team to hold it more than Ball State is UCLA.
Let's watch this play right here as IPFW put 2 solid blocks on Stanford right here. Move to the outside, moves to the attack right there, and great block.
Felipe Relat, as I mentioned, came in and playing middle now for IPFW, and is playing very well to start off this game 2. Also, we have a change with Quentin Spiegel in for game 2. So Arnie's made a couple changes.
Well, we just saw a great replay of a block by IPFW, but John Besmanovic comes back with a solid one for the Cardinal.
Yeah, that was a tough 2-person block. Putting the ball back on Relat. Moose with a jump serve. Backcourt attack by Spiegel. Blackman hits the ball inside. Felipe Relat from Puerto Rico, 6'6" freshman for IPFW, can't stop it. Service there by Ryan Moose, gives the ball back to the Mastodons. So we've got a couple changes here now in game 2 of personnel for Arnie Ball's IPFW team. A great block by Fort Wayne, however, and getting off of the net as they turned off, they flipped the net. Ball does a nice job of moving his hands around on the block. He almost dropped that hand behind the middle blocker and blocked it by himself at a height higher than the middle blocker was. Blackman again with a kill. We got Papaleo blocking middle there, pretty short block, and Blackman just hit it in between Ball and Papaleo. That's the problem with playing around Ball and blocking, is he's so much higher than the other block, it makes a very uneven block, and it's not a good block when that happens. Attack here by Spiegel, and gets tie back for Stanford, 3-3. Floater served by Goss. Almaldivar back set to Papaleo. Papaleo gets another kill. Great pass by Moose. Back set.
Right now, it seems like IPFW is having a little problem with that block. A few balls they probably could get their hands on. They're just slightly out of position. They're going to need to really stabilize that block, because that's about the only way you can get quick points.
Backcourt attack by Spiegel.
Spiegel's come out here and swung at a couple of balls out of the backcourt right there. I'll tell you one thing, with the substitution pattern Arnie Ball has here, if you can get into a longer match, it could come back to help them out, as Stanford is yet to sub.
Backcourt attack by Goss into the net. You're right. I'm really impressed with the depth that IPFW has, and that over a long match could make a lot of difference. Get into 2.5 hours or so. Blackman from the back.
Yeah, it's interesting with Stanford right here. You can throw any kind of set out there, and those guys they're not going to get cheated on their swing out there.
No, they're going to get their swing in. If they get the ball at all, they're going to swing at it. That's one thing you don't get many of, is free balls.
Papaleo, I'm not sure how he's getting it done sometimes, but that ball's going out of bounds off the block almost every time.
It's got to be that the way he leans outside and swings outside, it just causes the block to drift right with him. They don't stop and go vertical, and they're just going with him the whole time and sweeping it out of bounds also. Service air. Canyon Seaman, the setter for the Cardinals. Nice jump serve. Can't be saved. Ball had to go back to about 28 feet to try to get a hand on that ball. We have some different people now jump serving. Seaman didn't jump serve that much in game 1. He's starting to really crank it. So they keep changing around jump servers. a little off of that one. Ball with the back set.
Great play by Canyon Seaman right there.
Spiegel with a one-hand block. Fort Wayne almost caught asleep. Number 14, John Rebar, able to block in the middle. Fort Wayne haven't been able to establish any middle. They're really getting blocked in the middle quite a bit, and really Stanford's not known for their blocking.
And it's really kind of a slow play, though, developing in the middle. I think that's been a problem.
Nice swing by Collins out there.
You know, and the way they're playing with Collins on the outside and Papaleo, you might as well just, you know, go to the outside until the well runs dry, and then go back to that middle.
That's right. That's the only place they've had any continuity is on the outside. John Rebar with a kill through the block. Rebar to serve a floater. Ball in the left front position. Have to go quite a way to set. Attempts to go middle. Four hit. 4 hits called on IPFW. Miscommunication there by Ball and his hitter. Middle hitter let the ball go by, and the left side hitter had to come in and just attempt to keep it off the ground. Very bad call on that one.
We saw a serious touch over here.
Serious touch. That almost made a right angle. That was a really bad call. It's a tough one to see from the official on that side. We're sitting right in alignment with it, of course, but it took such a big move. You ought to be able to even hear that one.
And IPFW, once again, back into the thing that got them in trouble in game 1. They're not passing the ball real well. That offense isn't clicking in the middle, and they find themselves down 7-4 in game 2 of this NCAA semifinal match.
They start out like a house on fire, blocking real well, a lot of fire, and then, as you say, this passing breaks down, and that changes the whole game. Okay, we're going to see this last play, see if we can see it here on TV, whether we see that touch or not.
Like we saw a deflection off right there, but unfortunately the replay will not be played for the officials.
It will not be played. We saw it, they didn't. Crowd saw it. That hurts too, because it's a momentum type play. Instead of getting the side out and trailing by 2, now you're down 3 and no momentum at all. And come back with a service ace. Boy, those kill you.
When we talk about, you know, IPFW having it coming out like gangbusters there to begin with, you know, Stanford just kind of played along an even keel on this particular match, and that's probably why they've been ranked #1 all season. Is you know, they'll bend, but they aren't going to break.
One thing that Coach Neves has been pleased with this year, difference of last year and this year, has been the cohesiveness and the confidence with which his team has played. Last year they had little team problems, and this year they're playing just steady. 3 ball coming to Stanford.
Now, one thing they've done, Stanford's done a really good job of out here is just kind of neutralizing Loy Ball. Partly from the serving that they're having, but he's just been unable to be part of the offense as far as, you know, hitting the ball or tipping the ball.
It's tough when you don't know where the ball's coming up. Nice back set by Ball to Spiegel. Spiegel put the ball on the floor. Composure of Stanford's been really steady. Great pass by Blackman. Outside to Goss. Papaleo with a beach dig. Joust at the net. Ball wins.
Great play right there by Duncan
Stanford
Blackman.
Keeps it in. Super play. Throw by Felipe Relat. Back set by Ball. A little bit underset, but Relat took just enough off of it to get the top of the block. It's a good thing he didn't try to pull it down. He 2 blockers on him, but hit it off the top. Got him a point back now, trailing only by 4. Trailing 5-9 with the serve. Spiegel serving. Goss 1-on-1. Papaleo could not come up with that one.
Goss, one of the premier hitters in the country. I believe earlier this year, Jerry had 55 kills against UCLA, which is an NCAA record, and he's been close to that here all the way through the postseason play.
Yeah, they dish the ball to him a lot. Puts it down consistently. He's their leading hitter with 7.47 kills per game and led the nation. After a service or reception error, Norman Almodovar comes back with a kill through the hole in the block. And returns the ball to Stanford with a serving error.
Yeah, you're in a situation there where you're down 10-5. You've almost got to go with something like a jump serve to try and get you back into it real quick. That ball's 6 inches from being a point.
Yeah, there's such thing as a quality error and not a quality error, and that was a quality error.
Of course, right now IPFW is just looking for a quality pass.
Kill by John Mizgalovic.
And as Arnie Ball takes that timeout, that whole play right there was determined by the type of pass that IPFW made. Lloyd Ball having to chase it down once again. And as a setter, you just don't like to have to run down balls all night, because it just makes it harder on you and makes it harder on the hitters. And it results right now in an 11-5 deficit to the Stanford Cardinal. Take a look here at the last play right here. Once again, ball turning here. Great pass to the middle right there for Stanford. One blocker. A great hitter is always going to score.
Passing breakdown has really put them in a hole both games so far.
You know, Jerry, we mentioned earlier about playing in University Arena. The players and many of the people in the administration of this tournament have said it's one of the finest facilities they've ever played in. He puts the fans right on the court right there. The players are comfortable. They like the floor itself. It's a good jumper's floor. Just makes all the ingredients for some great play.
Yeah, hoping to break maybe a NCAA record for 2 nights of 12,800. Ball takes that overpass and puts it on the floor. I think Lloyd's a little angry, as he said, from having to run down so many balls off of those receptions.
Once again, Stanford automatic in the middle right there.
They're passing so well that you can run about whomever you want, and that's what they've been doing so far, is just that real consistent passing. Very few passing errors, and the ball right on the money for that setter. Went to Papaleo twice in a row, and the block was there. Blackman was there, along with Canyon.
We watched Milanovic go back and serve. We've just seen some great serving here by the Cardinal here in late part of game 2.
Now we've got a good pass up, so now they can run the middle. That's a whole difference on whether you get that ball tight or not.
Looks like we're going to see our first sub here for the Cardinals as Eric Wells, a freshman from Los Angeles, California, comes in to the back row.
Short service. Backcourt attack. Great dig. And called for a throw. Wink Davenport, the up official. The ball got a little bit behind rebar, and he had to reach back and throw it, basically. That was a great dig on the other side by IPFW. Combination play with Blackman getting the kill.
Just so quick right there. IPFW's just been having fits with that all night, trying to decide who to block, and there's always a hole in the block, and a good hitter's always going to find that spot.
They're just picking and choosing right now where they want to put it. Blackman jump serving. Nice pass. See, you can run a combination, you can do whatever you want to do, plus you go to Papaleo. So that's how easy it is, but you just have to do it consistently over and over again. 12-6 with Stanford leading. Back set to Moose.
There's that play again right there.
Same one, they run it every time. Same serve reception position by Stanford.
You know, it's interesting, when you're good at something, you just keep going to it.
Go to the well until it runs dry. Nice pass by Papaleo. Outside kill by Almodovar. Starting to pick up a little offense now, but of course you can pick up your offense when the pass is good. Moose and Blackman, the primary passers. Now we've got some trouble, so here's how difficult the game can get. Killed by Ball, but not by much. Tried to cut it really sharp, thought there might be a blocker up there, and almost took an easy one and put it out of bounds, but gets him back to within 5, Wes.
Great shot out there by Almodovar. I'll tell you what, that's one of the first times that play for Stanford is not connected, resulting in a tip shot, and IPFW capitalizes.
There's a nice bump set save by Ball, and then Almodovar going to his left was able to put that ball onto the court.
IPFW with another chance off a deflection block right here.
Great block by Dave Goss.
Dave Goss says no way to Craig Collins.
Backcourt attack attempt, but Goss one-on-one dropped that right hand and put it on the floor.
We're at that point right now where the Mastodons have got to really play side-out volleyball as they're down 12-8 late in game 2.
Can't give the team a ball like that. Misconnection in the middle between Ball and Spiegel. Gives a free ball basically to Stanford Cardinals, and of course they're going to put it on the floor, which they did. Gives them point 13, 13-8 in game 2 after taking the first game 15-11 in this 3 of 5 match here in the semifinals of the NCAA Men's Championships 1992. Great pass. Spiegel with a nice shot. Super set by Ball. When Ball jump sets, he's up about 2-3 feet above the net. He just dishes it straight across.
(13-8) here. Mastodon's looking at a 5-point deficit, still trying to come back.
Blackman, perfect pass.
There's that same shot right there. Set the ball high in the middle, let those big middle hitters go after it. Seems like they always got that ball inside to the right there and have been real successful with it.
Maybe IPFW ought to move their block over a little bit and force those middle blockers to cut back. Nice high deflection shot by Almodovar. Playing some side-out ball now. They're starting to pass the ball a lot better.
Interesting thing out there. Their passing just broke down at some crucial times because they play some very good side-out volleyball, but it's usually when their backs are against the wall.
Guess who? Dave Goss off of Raul Papaleo. Goss way back by the bleachers. About 4 foot out of bounds. Gives the ball back. Goss been having a little trouble with his serving. Really hasn't been that consistent. Ball never crossed the net. Super pass in there to start with by Moose, but misconnection. Couldn't get the ball across. 4-hit attack. Blackman with a perfect pass. Finally got Goss. Papaleo.
We're at a point right here where Mastodons have been able to get 2 a couple times here late in game 2, but they have not gotten that 3rd point. This could be a real feather in their cap if they could go after this one right here. And they're not going to get a chance.
Puts the ball out of bounds, takes the pressure off of Stanford. Looked like Lloyd took a little bit off. And when you do that, quite often what happens is you don't get that top spin and you put the ball out by about 3 feet, which is exactly what he did.
Stanford has really moved back their serving here as they've been back visiting with the fans here in about the last 4 servers.
Another service error.
And the last 2 have ended up in the same spot, out of bounds right there, giving the Mastodons another opportunity.
One strong point about Stanford, they have the same face on now as to whether they were trailing or losing or whether the team's coming back, and that's that helps with team chemistry. Come back with a great shot. I love that shot by John Rebar. Quick in the middle and cut the ball. Duncan Blackman. Ball's on the dime on the pass. Kill by Spiegel.
And, you know, Spiegel's really done a good job coming here in game 2. He's been kind of quiet as far as getting his kills, but they have been crucial ones, and he probably has about 4 or 5 during the course of this game. There's that side-out volleyball that Stanford's so well known for.
Yeah, only had one block up. I don't understand why we didn't get a blocker up from the left side there by IPFW. Had to block one-on-one.
That's a great shot right there by Almodovar. He went way outside the antenna, brought that ball back in for a super kill.
Yeah, he didn't have much time to get to it. Ball had to run it down to begin with. It was a little low and made a great shot out of that one, Almodovar. They're just running to death in the middle right now. Rebar again with the kill. IPFW only getting one up and not able to do anything. Kind of picking. PFW had to block one-on-one.
That's a great shot right there by Almodovar. He went way outside the antenna, brought that ball back in for a super kill.
Yeah, he didn't have much time to get to it. Ball had to run it down to begin with. It was a little low and made a great shot out of that one, Almodovar. They're just running to death in the middle right now. Rebar again with the kill. IPFW only getting one up and not able to do anything. Kind of pick and choose Stanford is on that middle shot. Perfect pass. Spiegel attempting to go back over on one. Put the ball right down the bottom of the net.
Once again, you know, a good pass, but kind of left ball with not a lot of options.
We're at game point in game 2. 14-10. Kill by Collins comes flying in from that right back. He took off from about 11 foot and ended up almost on the midline there, Wes.
And here comes Neil Day back in the lineup. You know, usually not a visitor to the bench as much as he may have seen in that particular game.
I thought Felipe Raylot came in and did a nice steady job while he was in there.
Did a super job. Nice to see Day probably, you know, put a little punch into the Don's offense here.
Great dig by Papaleo. Back set again. Collins out of bounds.
Interesting. Stanford, you know, continually still goes to that jump serve. You know, tight game or no game, they're still going to, you know, go after it.
Here he goes, Moose, and puts it out. 3 in a row. 3 service errors in a row. That hurts at game point. Fort Wayne put a little pressure on. We might see a little different one here in the second game. Trailing 10-14. Didn't like his toss. Gets one more retoss.
Once again, reminding people, you know, they do get a second chance on the toss if they do let it fall.
Nice serve and a rare ace. Very rare ace. I think that's about the first one that we haven't seen Moose put on the dime even. Kind of a tough one. It's coming cross court with a little side spin on it, and that's what happens if you don't front that ball. What's he come back with? Perfect.
Great you want to capitalize on right here. And interesting play ending up with Lloyd Ball being the attacker on the left side there.
Stanford with 2 right on him.
So we're going with our third game point here in game number 2.
And we've got Dave Gosway back there who's been putting the ball out of bounds on his serve quite a bit long. See what he does. See if he takes a little bit off here. Whether he goes at it. 14-11 game point. They took a little off and went high. Papaleo.
I think he's got a magnet on those guys' hands or bodies or something, because that ball could have been potentially out of bounds. And Stanford goes after it.
Ball serving. Blackman between the blocks.
Back to the fans again here for this serve.
Been a long game. Several times on game point.
That's the kind of play I like to see a guy go up and crank it.
Ball still in play. Free ball coming. Who are they going to go to? Blackman. Goss, Blackman, one-on-one. And it's down 15-11, identical score. Game 2 goes to the Stanford Cardinals. 15-11 game 1, 15-11 game 2. Mastodons, however, did hold on there, Wes, and maybe that'll help them with a little momentum going into game 3. He played some good ball at the tail end of this game.
Well, you sure hated to see that as Arnie Ball talks to Neil Day right now. Perfect opportunity there, nice set, and he goes up and kind of rolls the ball. And you just have to go after it. At that point in the game, go for the kill. If it doesn't happen, then at least you were aggressive. But watch this play right here on the serve by Stanford. They'll get a pretty nice pass right here. Papaleo with the pass right there. Neil Day overextended himself, doesn't get a nice swing, and it's lights out as Duncan Blackman knows what to do right there. They do get the ball back.
Here comes
Free. Go right back to their main gun.
That's who you'd want hitting game point, Blackman.
The ball hit that ball on the 10-foot line right there.
Yeah, if I wanted anybody, I think right now hitting that ball on game point, it would be Duncan Blackman.
We might explain here how both these teams ended up being in this tournament, NCAA finals, as IPFW took the Midwestern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association Championship with a victory over Ohio State last weekend. And then Stanford, who is the #1 team in the country as far as the rankings are concerned, ended up having to come through what we call the Western Intercollegiate Volleyball Association tournament, Pepperdine being the automatic bid. Stanford had to earn their way into this tournament with a couple big victories out in the West Coast.
Yeah, they were ranked, Stanford was ranked 2 most of the year and ended up ranked 1 after their win in that tournament. Okay, we're going to get a replay now. Collins from IPFW with this backcourt attack kill right down the line.
Look where he ends up there, Jerry, on a back row attack. He probably goes about 8 feet in the air and out comes crashing down just prior to the net. This shows you the intensity level.
He's going to be something. He's, again, very, very, very young, inexperienced player from Detroit, Michigan. And you've seen him earlier in the year. Didn't play that much, and he's starting to get more and more playing time. He's just a freshman, and he keeps improving at the rate probably he has this year. They're going to be tough for a few years to come.
Well, this match I thought was one that would personally thought would at least go 4 games. And right now, Fort Wayne's going to have to, reevaluate some things, go back out there. They're coming close, but they've got to have that, little push to get over the edge right here. Here we're going to see a great stuff block by Stanford. Papaleo goes up right there. Ball's brought back down. Lloyd Ball going to go right back to his main gun this game. Ball's brought straight down.
Blocked him twice in a row. Went back to Papaleo twice.
Looks like the box score here for the game 2. IPFW staying about the same with a 250 average, dropping just a few points. Stanford staying right around 375 once again. The big thing, though, Duncan Blackman, 16 kills. Dave Goss, 13. Both, hitting at pretty good percentages right there. Papaleo still batting away at a 643 average with 10 kills. They're playing well in spurts, but they're just not able to pass the ball consistently through the whole game and come up with a victory.
That's right. At the press conference the other day, that's what former Olympic coach Marv Dunphy, who's coaching Pepperdine, had to say about the difference between, really the biggest difference between national team and college teams is the ability to sustain and do skills over and over and over again without errors. As you point out, IPFW is playing well, but it's just so spurty, it doesn't give them a chance really to even anything out, and that's what's happening with Stanford. They're pretty steady and even. You've got to beat them, and they're not beating themselves.
You certainly don't like to see that at the start of game 3, but IPFW down 1-0 real early.
Really, Stanford's kept the crowd out. A big Fort Wayne crowd here, but not been able to get into it because they haven't gotten steady enough to play.
These kind of third games like this can go 2 ways. One, that the team that's up 2-0 can just kind of lay down for a while, or the team that's down 2-0 can just kind of fold up to 10.
I don't, with 2 players like Dave Goss and Duncan Blackman, I don't think that's going to happen for Stanford. They're 2 top competitors. In fact, that was part of their problem last year. They competed against each other instead of the other team, and then ended up 8-3.
I think it's the same thing as we see Papaleo get an ace right there. I think IPFW has come too far with their program to just lay down and die. I feel like Lloyd Ball is going to do one thing. He'll go down swinging as well as the rest of his teammates.
Yeah, they're not going to lay down. There's too much experience there and too much pride. Papaleo with a jump serve. Unable to stop that middle again. Of course, they've got short guy in there blocking middle. Junkie's back into the lineup, and he's not the tallest of players. He just can't get up in enough time to stop at a higher level like that.
I'll tell you one thing, that Canyon Seaman, though, is able to bring an awful lot of pretty average passes back into great sets.
Nice shot there by Norman Almodovar off the top of the head of Dave Goss in the backcourt for Stanford. Spiegel serving. One of the few overpasses. And the official calls a lift on Almodovar.
I know you hate to see an overpass like that end up in a block, because usually you just get real big eyes and see automatic kill on that type of play.
Here we are back from the seats way back on the service. Ball dishing to Almodovar, cuts it inside the block. Nice shot by Norman Almodovar. Tom Junkie back to serve for the Mastodons from IPFW Fort Wayne.
One of the few errors by Stanford in the middle during the course of this match.
2-2 at this point. Nice floater serve, deep. Back set to Goss. Ball goes over everybody.
That's one of the few plays we've seen Ball so far. Be able to utilize his height as a setter and go up there and find a place to put that ball. It's one of his favorite shots during most of the season.
Yeah, nobody can reach as high as he does, and he can just push it to that back court because everybody kind of crashes in when that ball's tight. Another kill out of the middle. Timed by John Rebar.
They certainly have a lot of weapons over there. It seems like there's all kinds of people always running that middle play, either in front of the setter or behind the setter.
Been really impressed with Stanford so far. Spiegel's blocked. Our Ball saves it. Outside set. And Ball on the overset goes up and pushes the ball down in a almost joust between Ryan Moose and Loy Ball from IPFW.
Of course, as they clean the floor off right here, any good team is always going to have that setter that can get you the ball. And we're seeing two of the top setters in the country in Canyon Seaman for Stanford and Loy Ball for the Mastodons.
Service there by Norman Almodovar. Gives the ball back to the Cardinals from Stanford. Canyon Seaman serving the ball out of bounds. Ball's a pretty good server, so if we can get on a roll here, we might see the thing turn around a little bit, Wes. Takes a little bit off. There's that play again from the backcourt with Moose. They finally block it. Here comes Goss.
Great position by Junkie right there. See,
Great
play
defense.
right there. You just expect to get a kill right there. Instead, they're going to get a pass here for another free ball.
Better go to Raul. They do. And he gets a kill. Raul Papaleo. That's a great rally. Crowd gets into it a little bit. This is what Fort Wayne needs. They win a few of these rallies and get the crowd in their favor. They've got a basically hometown crowd the way it is. There he put a little steam on another overpass.
There you go. Raul Papaleo finally coming through one of those overpasses.
Takes a 5-2 lead, and Stanford wisely calls timeout.
Well, it's come down here, some great serving right there. You end up with some poor passing, and you never know what's going to happen right there, as they've had two overpasses that IPFW has ended up scoring on.
I don't think in 2 games that they've had 2 overpasses, and here they come back to back. That just again points out the need for good serve reception and how critical that is to a team's being able to play.
Okay, let's take a look at this overpass right here. Great serve by Ball. Blackman overpasses the ball. Papaleo does not get cheated on that particular play as he puts it straight down. Only a 6'1" outside hitter.
He's very dynamic.
And in today's, world, a 6'1" outside hitter's a 6'1" player is usually a backcourt player in the Atlanta Giants. But he has a great vertical jump, and he's very, very quick.
The athletic ability by the teams at the tournament are getting more and more astounding. Service by Loy Ball, floater serve. Outside one-on-one, out of bounds.
Great move back here by Tom Junkie, holding that in line right there really, really well. And just when you're on that line, you know if the ball's in or out. And he did not play it.
6-2 lead by IPFW. Setter has to pull out of the block. A nice block by Spiegel and Day.
This is the first time in the match that Neil Day's really, I thought become a factor. That was a great block.
Loy Ball with a jump serve again. Ace serve as Dave Goss attempts to save that ball down the line. 8-2 lead. One of the few times that Fort Wayne's been able to take this lead.
And we're going to have a sub here for the Cardinal as Bob Hillman enters the game right here. Coming into the front row, it looks like.
Yeah, for Goss. Ball again. Took a little bit off. Hillman with the pass right on the dime. Out to Hillman. They had 3 on him, but sneaks it through. Ball tries to go to the floor to pancake it. Can't save the ball.
I'll tell you, for Stanford, you got to be pretty happy when a guy can come off the bench for the first time after sitting there for about an hour and a half and come up with a kill.
You're not kidding. To come in and pass the ball and then swing outside and get it dished to you right away and have to hit it.
Well, we got a ball game here because it's going to be interesting to see how Stanford reacts to this right here, and if BFW can just continue the push.
Yeah, this is the first they've had any pressure really on them from coming from behind in this match. So we'll see what happens here.
Block set. It could have been, but we're not going to call it. See, Loy Ball is arguing over here right now that he had a chance to set that ball, and when he set it, the blocker blocked the ball.
Good one to question. I think Davenport's saying the ball was on the other side of the net, so that's why he didn't call it. But you can't go across the net and touch a set ball. Nice shot by Papaleo off the top of the block to get the side out. So call by the official didn't affect any points that time. That's what you'd like to see. Great pass by Blackman. Moves, sneaks around with that left hand, puts the ball between the blockers. They had 3 up on him, but he found the seam.
Yeah, they really like to hit this ball back in this, what would be the left back corner here. They thrive on that kind of shot right there.
Great pass by Papaleo, and Junkie with a set from Loy Ball.
Loy Ball starting to make a lot better selections right there, but then again starting to get a lot nicer passing. And, setters are going to find a way to get the ball someplace if they have the ball where they want it.
If Fort Wayne continues to pass the way they have been here at the tail end of Game 2 and this game, Game 3, they're going to be something to contend with in the game. Hillman going back to serve for the first time. Replaced Dave Goss, who's on the bench trying to get his game back together. Had a little trouble receiving Loy Ball's serve and getting out just to think about it a little bit before he gets back in.
We haven't been able to see Stanford play this year, but I'm sure that over the course of these long matches, a guy like Dave Goss is going to need a breather at some point in time. And he made a couple passing mistakes right there, and I'm sure he'll come back a different player after the break.
Not too good of a pass, and now he's got to go back and get it. Free ball over to IPFW. And Spiegel with the kill. Right off the top of the block on a back set from Loy Ball. Spiegel has done a super job. Spiegel's from Rochester, New York. Ball hit wide out of bounds as Rebar attempts to come around and take the ball in the opposite direction. Basically threw it out of bounds. 9-3 lead to IPFW. Back set. One-on-one block by Roman Almodovar.
It's an interesting game right here. They're playing at a level right now that could carry them through to a 3-game sweep right here as Stanford takes a timeout down 10-3 in Game 3.
Great comeback in game 3. Could have just folded tents and gone home, but as we mentioned, they're too good of a team to do that. And I think that we're going to see something out of this. I'm anxious still to see what rebounding Stanford will have, or whether they'll be able to, Wes.
You know, I just thought in the first 2 games that IPFW, played them to 15-11, had opportunities late in the game to come back, but I just never felt that they were on track. Not that I thought they'd be up 10-3, but I just thought they were. Stanford probably had a lot to do with controlling the tempo of the game. I just thought IPFW would end up, controlling a little bit more of their own destiny.
Here's the last play that we just saw. Up goes Almodovar and drops that one hand down. And
super
gets
block
a super
right
block. One-on-one. Don't see those very often. Great play by Ramon Almodovar. Quentin Spiegel, 6'4" junior serving. Nice pass by Blackman.
Good deflection block right there.
Ball back set to Spiegel. Spiegel goes high.
Touch. We have a touch. We got a touch.
We have a call by the linesperson, but
he is not going to allow it. The up official has the right to overrule a line judge, and he will do so.
A lot of dissension on that one, especially from the fans, the partial fans. I'll say this, Fort Wayne has not been getting any breaks on any calls. I've not seen a call go for him. Ball having to move back too far to set anything in the middle again.
Great choice there by Ball as he went back to Spiegel, who really I thought had a good swing at the last ball right there. Not afraid to go back, and they get a kill out of the back row.
Junkie in to serve now.
It's like Arnie Ball looking for possibly a little different blocking system here on this particular serve. Interesting to see where Ball ends up in this particular blocking scheme.
Like he's going over on the right side.
Yeah, they're going to need him.
Nice play by Day as Stanford makes a save out of a questionable reception, and Day's there at the net to throw the ball down as it comes back over.
Neil Day making it a basketball game with the stuff shot there to make the score 11-3.
I think he only made that ball go 2 or 3 different ways on that, but after that reception, you got to let something go. Blackman passes the ball back off of the net. Nice dig by Papaleo. Ball back to Spiegel.
On the back row again. Papaleo, though, making the play happen. Digging that ball inside the block, a problem they've had earlier. Bringing that ball up. We're at 12-3.
Spiegel has been very good at digging that cross-court power alley. He had in game 2, he had a couple nice digs, and here he does comes up with one in this one. And 12-3, a very commanding lead by IPFW at this point, Wes. There they got a nice perfect pass up.
Of course, one thing in this particular situation is Stanford comes back with the first legitimate kill they've had in a while. Is IPFW has to accept the fact there's going to be probably a lot of side-out volleyball before this one game is over.
Yeah, they can't start trying to hurry to get the game over. Come back with a service ace now, 12-4, but they can't be looking at the scoreboard or say, hurry up and get the game over. With a 12-4 lead, you just keep doing what you've been doing, and it'll take care of itself. What you don't want to do is give away quick points at this time. Nice save by Goss and Moose. However, the up official, Davenport, is calling the ball on the floor. Side out goes over to IPFW.
Canyon Seaman not real happy with the call right there, but as any knowledgeable volleyball fan would know, any setter feels that any ball that comes out of their hands is a quality set.
That's correct. In their own mind it is. Ramon Almodovar. Service error. Canyon Seaman now, setter for Stanford, All-American on the back row. Gets another quick point, service ace.
Papaleo, that's 3 serves he's had in a row come to him, 2 of the 3 being service errors.
Had to go to the floor on the other one to save it and had to pass it back by the 10-foot line. But these are good serves. They're change their pattern now. Move Papaleo over to the left and change their pattern a little bit. Great pass by Papaleo. Attack by Day. Saved by Stanford outside to Goss. And we got a net error.
That's been kind of a thorn in the IPFW's side if we kind of compare this match to the last match we saw this evening, where they've had 8 or 9 net errors. Last match we only saw 2 in the whole match between both teams.
Fort Wayne having the major number of net errors.
Arnie Ball doing some dialogue over here with the officials. Probably a little concerned that maybe there shouldn't be quite so many net errors as we just discussed.
Canyon Seaman again to serve. And service error. So that little slowdown in the action paid off for IPFW, which quite often happens. You kind of lose the rhythm as a server, and that slowing it down causes errors a lot of time. IPFW important that they get 13 here for long. Nice block by Day. One of the few times they blocked anybody in the middle.
And Neil Day once again showing that this third game he's going to be a different player as he set out much of game 2.
Outside to Goss. Flags the ball out.
And we are back here, Jerry, where we started this whole rally for the IPFW Mastodons. Lloyd Ball back serving, working some magic with that ball.
Yeah, he's gotten them in the game and ahead in this one with his serving. It's been tough when he goes back to serve. This is a good rotation for him. Again, they got to be careful not to try to hurry up and get 15. 14-6 lead. It's going to come if you just wait on it. Kill by Dave Goss. They just right back to him.
We had a large contingent of this crowd right here standing for a potential IPFW point.
And we have about 6,000 probably in the gym at this point. Most of them for Fort Wayne. Attack error by Papaleo gives a point back to Stanford now, 7-14. Still see the same game faces though on Stanford. Attack error.
I think Arnie Ball needs a timeout here.
Norman Almodovar.
Raul Papaleo is a little bit tired out there. Take a little break here, relax, and get back in this game because Stanford is, probably 2 points from making this a game again.
Yeah, it's about this point in time where when you're up there on 14 and you've had a big lead all along, that about every point that the other team gets, you start looking over your shoulder at the scoreboard to see how close they're getting and where it is. And that's how they get the quick points, because you're not concentrating on just siding out. Really difficult to get beat at this point unless you start to put pressure on yourself and start to make these quick errors, which has kind of happened here in the last 2. Putting that ball out of bounds, bam, bam, it gives them 2 quick ones. So yeah, keep the ball in play.
If you're up 14-6 and you end up potentially losing a match, you probably lost the match as opposed to the other team just winning it, because there's had to been quite a few errors along the way.
That's exactly right.
And right now, 14-8, probably 4 of the last 5 points have been off service errors.
Nice one to come out of it. Papaleo with the tip, picked up by Goss, and a kill. Dave Goss again. 14-9 now. When it gets to double digits is when you really start to look. Stanford just playing steady. Papaleo says no way, Jose. Puts the ball down the line.
Yeah, it's a situation where you hope a kid like Lloyd Ball, who, maybe not as maturity-wise as a setter, is not, come full cycle, but you've got to be able to relax the team out there. And he went through Papaleo, and Papaleo is always going to get that swing in, and you got to go to your main players when you're getting down.
Arnie Ball bringing in number 4, Chad Blatchley, to serve and to play. Nice save by Canyon Seaman. Quick attack again. Side out. Arnie Ball putting in a backcourt specialist, attempting to get this one before he gets that front line, because he's got Day out of the lineup. Spiegel gets blocked.
A tough play right there. Had no other options except to go right back to the right side there, and huge Stanford block.
Nice play by Chad Blatchley, keeping the ball off the floor on that block, but Spiegel was slow in getting around to try to save it. 10-14, Stanford trailing.
Got a big break there for the Mastodons.
Papaleo back to serve now. Not too big of a block up here for Fort Wayne. Papaleo with the serve. Blackman with the pass. Goss with the attack and kill.
Well, the first thing IPFW probably needs to do is just get in a side-out game here. If we're not going to run a lot of points, let's play side-out volleyball here for 6 or 7 rotations, and then we'll maybe get a point.
That's exactly right. They just have to play side-out, keep the ball in play. Can't do just that. Almodovar trying a national team player shot, having to swing way outside with a ball that's way outside and ends up hitting it 15 feet long. If you miss, you gotta either be close or you gotta just put the ball in play, one of the two.
And another break. They've had 2 service errors over there.
Dave Goss again with a service error. He's been having trouble tonight for Stanford in serving. Got another backcourt specialist coming in.
IPFW looking for some kind of magic off the bench right there. And I suppose in these kind of matches, you've got to expect some help off the bench, and maybe they can get it right here.
Juan Ortiz in for the first time tonight with the serve. Nice pass up and a tip. And we get a net error on Tom Junkie of IPFW. Ball would have been to the floor anyhow. Sub back in. Spiegel back in for Ortiz. Here's where they had passing troubles last time with Papaleo in that right back position.
And this is crucial here because of the offense they've got. And there it is. First time all match. Lloyd Ball goes with the tip straight down there. They needed that right there because they didn't have a whole lot of firepower in the front row.
Coming back in on the front row for IPFW is Neil Day, replacing Chad Blatchley. Day back into the lineup. Junkie with the serve.
And I guess you would call that an All-American set right there, as he brought that ball back from nowhere.
Well, you would call All-American set. I'd call it a throw. It's very difficult to take a ball that's going one way and bring it back the other without it changing direction. So I'd call it a throw, but a little bit of a low set. Go right back at him. Ball off of the block. Day hits the ball off the block.
Some sloppy play right there, but IPFW back with the ball, and Norman Almodovar back to try and finalize. The key word at the end of a match is trying to finalize a play. And not yet.
Ball by Dave Goss. They're fired up. Stanford's fired up. This is the first I've really seen them fired up. They want to come back and get this one. They don't want to go to another one. They know that a match could turn around.
And still getting some help here.
Canyon Seaman with a little grimace on his face there. On his service there. Here's where they score points, Wes.
Going to go for the jump serve.
And the ball's hit out. Not very good match, game very good for Goss, I didn't think. He hits the ball long on this one, and really he didn't have a good second game. They pulled him out partway through and put Hillman in for him, brought him back in, but he had a critical serving error at the end, and here's a hitting error, and he doesn't appear to be playing at the top of his game, at least for that second game, Wes.
Yeah, but for the Mastodons of IPFW, they're going to go to game 4 after a big 15-11 victory. In fact, all 3 games there have been 15-11, but Stanford commands a 2-1 lead here in the NCAA second semifinal match here at University Arena at Ball State University. And here we go with the final play. Lloyd Ball back where he scored an awful lot of points in game 3 with the jump serve. Going to get a pretty good pass here by Ryan Moose up to Canyon Seaman. He'll go out to one of his main guns out here, Dave Goss. Out of bounds. Game
just hit it long
to IPFW.
See, they held steady long enough to let it happen instead of trying to make it happen. They let it happen, and it'll come to you if you just don't rush it.
Well, I said before that game started, I thought that IPFW was just a team that is not going to fold up the tent. And here they are in their situation. They're up 2-1 right now. Really earned that game right there. Just had a few problems there right at the end. I think that was more of a tired factor with Papaleo and Almodovar kind of going, bad maybe in the backcourt a little bit. But 3-minute break right here. When everything's on the line right here, the big time players have got to play no matter what the conditions.
Yeah, they played very steady that game, and they just had that one spurt breakdown, as you pointed out, with Papaleo, and they didn't panic and came right back at it. So start of this game will be very, very important to see who can establish a little momentum going into the game 4, because a match can turn around, and especially if you get into that fifth game. We're going to see a replay here. Game point by IPFW.
Once again, Ball with another one of his quality serves. Neil Day with a super block, and I'll tell you, Jerry, I think he is going to be one of the keys in this 4th game. You know, he came out there and in game 3 after sitting out game 2, and really had some quality blocks, a couple kills, and you know, he's got some fresh legs. As does, you know, another player out there, Craig Collins, did not see action in that particular game, and it could come back to great benefit for them.
Yeah, they've got plenty of fresh players, and Spiegel's done a great job when he's been in there. It'd be tough for Coach Ball really with Spiegel as well as he's playing to pull somebody back in for him. But they've got plenty of bench strength, and as we talked earlier, that could come back and really be a factor for them, because aside from the short time that Dave Goss was out, they really haven't subbed much for Stanford.
You know, and give Stanford credit there. They did make it a long game, even though IPFW jumped out to a big lead right there. They still played their game. As you mentioned, they still kept the same face. There was no loss of composure right there. They just flat out got beat. Probably because of a couple performances that were not quite what they should have been.
Right. Go ahead.
For the 3rd game right there, going into the 4th game now, IPFW sticking right around that 250 mark. They actually dropped just a couple notches, but up there, a kill total to 53 kills versus 66 for the Stanford Cardinal. One of the key points, though, Stanford dropping 40 points there to just 336 in the hitting department. Key hitters for the match right here still Duncan Blackman with 16. Dave Goss has 20 kills. He kind of cooled down right there in that particular game, though, and had to come out for a little bit of a rest. Actually, he has 10 errors right now, and he started off there early in the match hitting about 400, and now he's down to 233.
Yeah, his errors will bring him down very quickly in that kill percentage, and he had a number of them in this game 3.
Papaleo, though, leading the way for IPFW with 14. Norman Almodovar with 10 as we watch the start of game 4 right here.
Nice save by Blackman. He's really in trouble, however he snuck it through. Got Dave Goss back to serve. Had trouble serving in game 3. A lot of errors. Nice pass on the dime, and Junkie with the kill. That's the whole key. If they can pass the ball tight enough to give enough options, they're going to be tough. If they don't, it'll be a struggle. Raul Papaleo. Blackman off of the antenna. Fort Wayne takes the first lead, 1-0. Game 4, with Stanford leading 2-1. Take a little pause here as the antenna gets a little bit out of alignment on the sideline. Eric Beaumont, one of the linesmen, straightening the antenna. Service by Papaleo. Short serve, Moose pass, and an attacking error by Dave Goss. Kenyon Siemens trying to get them together.
Both coaches here with a world full of thoughts going through their mind as to how they're going to control the tempo of this game. The emotions really start to come into play in games 4 and 5.
Nice soft shot by Rebar to the floor.
Arnie Ball not real happy with that particular play right there. Thought it should have probably been a little more routine play than ending up being a kill for Stanford. He's going to go down and talk to one of his players about the type of play he just saw.
Talking to Collins. Collins isn't taking anything off, so I assume he's not coming in, but Arnie not too pleased with that easy play of everybody getting caught standing instead of moving on the ball. Rebar serving. Spiegel serving now. Quentin Spiegel played well in game 2 and 3 for IPFW. Another attack error by Goss.
Seaman continues to go back there to the back row attack, and it's been unsuccessful twice in a row now.
Be interesting to see if they go to him again. Nope, they go to the middle.
That's certainly been their bread and butter here, especially in games 1 and 2.
They've got a new person in the lineup here. Stanford has, as Joe Burkhart's into the lineup for the first time, gets his first kill. So they're starting to pull a few people off the bench. Overpass.
Great shot there by
Moose.
Moose there as he goes up with that left hand and just puts the ball about the 12-foot line.
He's a really steadying influence on the team due to his passing, and he's just a very steady player.
We've seen that here, in both matches. This match here alone, we've got Moose, a very consistent player. You got Papaleo, who's going to pass and swing at a lot of balls. I think anymore you've got to have that left side, swing hitter that's going to be able to pass and then get outside and hit.
Yeah, you see a lot of them nowadays. A lot more mobility. Free ball.
This is one you got to capitalize on.
Terrible pass off of a free ball. However, Ramon Almodovar comes through, hitting from about 8 foot off of the net when got a bad free ball pass to Loy Ball. But
that's one thing I like about him is he never gets cheated. He's always going to go up and get a good swing on the ball every time. You've got to have players like that. Stanford's got 4 or 5 of them out here that never stop swinging, and Norman for IPFW is just doing the same thing.
Canyon Seaman jump serve. Papaleo. Spiegel puts the ball out as he got a less than desirable ball, taking off 1 foot and put it way out of bounds. Stanford trailing 2-4 in game 4, leading 2-1. Fort Wayne not able to keep that ball off of the net on a pretty easy play there by Day. Results in a point 3 for Stanford. And Stanford's had a little pressure on, but Fort Wayne's letting them off a little bit now.
Seaman, had some serving problems there late in game 3. Did score 3 points before going for the air.
Starting to see a few little different looks and communication from Stanford, so they're getting a little more stress on them. Overpass. Ball off of Moo's chest, and a kill.
Line violation by Dave Goss.
However,
we're seeing some emotion come out here as Goss was not happy with that particular play.
Ball goes to IPFW for point 5. 5-3. Almost a great play. Passing problems by Blackman. There goes Goss. Nice dig in the backcourt. Back set by Ball to Spiegel. Spiegel with the kill.
I like what Ball's doing right now. A lot of those balls he's having to chase down across the court. He was setting right to the outside there, and there's just a huge block, and now he's getting that ball back at the 10-foot line, and usually getting a kill right now.
Less predictable, rather than going with the predictable, going with a less predictable shot. Really, Stanford's starting to have a few little looks on their face. Nice pass off of that jump serve. Ryan Moose with a great shot. Burkhart back to serve for the first time of the evening. He just entered in game 4 as middle blocker for the Stanford Cardinals.
Great dig back there. Junkie. And then Papaleo finalizes with a great kill on the outside.
Those are the most important plays, those rallies like that, to win those, because they get the crowd into it and get your own team fired up. And if you want to win anything, you want to win rallies. Here we go with Ball. Good rotation. Passing problems. One hand set by Canyon Siemens, left go.
Once again, Jerry, All-American set or carry?
Truth or
dare?
Or dare. No, I didn't think it was very clean. Ball having come way off of the net. Spiegel gets blocked, but Fort Wayne keeps it in play. Spiegel comes back and puts the ball between Blackman's legs.
Well, sure unsung hero in this particular match has been Quentin Spiegel. He's just going up and wailing on the ball every time, and he's producing kills left and right.
Yeah, he's played extremely well. Day serving. Loose off of the bicep. Blackman going for the hands and almost hit the back wall. I think that's the longest shot we've had tonight.
Stanford going with the timeout here as IPFW leads 7-3. The Stanford Cardinal down at this point in time.
Fort Wayne's been playing much more steady, and as I mentioned, Stanford's starting to do a little bit of jawing back and forth and getting down on themselves individually quite a bit. Let's look at this last play.
Neil Day back to serve right here. It's a quality serve here, makes the center go after the ball. And that ball's still sailing someplace out there on the local avenue outside the arena.
Yeah, I think out on Bethel Avenue. It almost made it to the exit. Blackman got under it a little bit and sailed it really long.
Yeah, I like the way IPFW is really staying tight. They're going after the ball every time. They're getting a lot of quality swings on some pretty average second balls. You know, they're having to balls having to chase the ball down, somebody else set the ball, and they're still getting great swings on it.
Right. They're not getting the super passing they were in Game 4, but they are not getting the terrible passing for any aces on them, and they're getting, as you said, anything they're getting, they're swinging on.
We're going to get another transition play right here.
Nice set by Junkie. Ball's blocked by Goss. Dave Goss with the block, assisted by John Bezmalik. Goss serving. Quick hit out of the middle by Junkie, but Doug. And Blackman with a sharp inside shot.
And see right there, kind of a mismatch on the blocking scheme with you got Junkie in the middle right there, a smaller middle blocker.
Goss again serving, trailing 4-7. Papaleo.
And that's why the first time we've seen him kind of go bad on a particular play like that. He's been blocked a few times, but
it was a little lower, and he had to go a little further to get at it. So he was really out of control and couldn't save it. He saved a lot of those and gotten a lot of kills tonight on those. Great pass. See what happens. All right. Side out.
You know, Junkie's just been a real solid player. He gets a kill maybe once every 7 or 8 points, but you know, he's always there.
And he's one of the shorter players on the court, especially for a middle blocker. Papaleo serving. Kill off of the block. Spiegel did a nice job for IPFW of getting the hand on that, but couldn't turn it in. Blocking one-on-one against Blackman, All-American. John Bezmalovic serving. Bezmalovic from Fresno, California. 6'5" senior. Another block by the Cardinals. By Burkhart and Seaman. 6-7 trailing now. Nice serve. Going to be a tough one. Junkie with a nice block of a tight ball at the net.
Stanford playing some nice defense right there, but Junkie right where he needed to be. Nice, a crucial point right there.
Yeah, nice body control. That's not the easiest thing to do. You get antsy and think you're going to crack it, and you don't know whether it's over or not. So made a nice play out of that. Nice double quick play. First they've run a combination for quite a while. Blackman sneaks in behind the middle attacker, Burkhart, and puts the ball down with no one on him. Those are momentum plays also. Nice pass by Almodovar. Spiegel. Nice dig by Blackman. Free ball. Ball. Another free ball.
Super play right there by Moose.
Almodovar gets blocked. Burkhart made a nice block out of the middle on that. He was way across court on the left side. Had to make a long transition over to help with the block. It looked like it was going to be a hole in the block, and all at once he shows up and got Almodovar blocked. 7-7.
Arnie Ball going to go to timeout right there as Stanford has run 3 straight points.
Stanford starting to loosen up a little bit now, Wes. They were a little tense there for a while, and a little bit, as we said, joying and having some problems, but now they're starting to come back. Once they get hot, they get very hot. Very good side-out team, as we pointed out. That combination play, I think, helped get a little spirit up and get them back in. Okay, we're going to go back and see this nice save by Ryan Moose. Free ball pass. Ball dishes outside. Almodovar, and there's Burkhart just barely getting there in the nick of time.
We've seen an awful lot of blocked balls back in that corner here recently. But, you know, Stanford's taking quite a punch here, losing a game and being down early in this game. But, you know, two good teams playing against each other. You know, one team's just not going to dominate the whole time. That's what we've seen here so far in the match.
Yeah, it's who can control those peaks and valleys so that they're not too valley-y. You know, you'll take the peaks when you get them, but you can't drop down too low, and that's been a pretty strong suit here for the Cardinals. They did dig a hole here at the start of game 4, but come back now to take the lead 8-7. Spiegel. There we had the ball right there. We had the game ball in our hand. We almost got in the game.
IPFW finally stopped Blackman's serve right there. Or, yeah, Blackman's serve.
Right. One of the things that has kind of turned around here has been the defensive backcourt digging plays in about the last 3 or 4 rallies by Stanford. Played great backcourt defense. Back out of bounds by Burkhart. Hit a very flat ball. Seaman gave him a little bit of a low ball and couldn't get on top of it to drive it down. Junkie serving for the Mastodons. Another combination play. It's the one they ran earlier with Ryan Moose. Out of that same rotation, sneaks around as a second combination. The attendance for tonight's matches was 5,711. That would mean that tomorrow night, in order to break the NCAA, or at least in the championship game, to break the NCAA record, they would have to get over about 7,000. Neither team able to dominate at this point. Nice hit by Goss into the backcourt. Tie game 8-8. Burkhart to serve. Nice pass by Papaleo. In a combination play, Papaleo puts the ball down. Catches Canyon Seaman sucked in on the court a little too far. Seaman couldn't make any type of play. It was right at shoulder height. Here's their good rotation with Ball serving, and Ball gets an ace.
Yeah, it's going to take each team here. Got to really earn their points going down the stretch of this game.
Aren't going to be any easy ones from about this point on. Outside to Goss with a nice shot. Nice selection by Canyon Seaman. Ryan Moose to serve. Taking Moose out of jump serving for the last couple games. He's jump serving early in the match and now isn't serving the floater serve. Short serve. Ball. Good choice outside to Spiegel. Super. Great pass to start that off, Wes. Because that was a strong short serve by Moose. Nice reception by IPFW, and Ball dished it outside Spiegel. Service by Day. There's that same combination play with Blackman sneaking in behind the middle blocker.
You know, both teams right now seem to be able to run their own offense, getting the pass right there and just kind of doing what they want, which leads, you know, into a side-out type of game.
Dave Goss with another serving error. He really has been hurting Stanford with the service errors. Papaleo jump serve. It's passed by Blackman. Dish backcourt to Goss. Goss with the kill. Volleyball looking a little tired at this point. They've been running him all over the court quite a bit, so face pretty red. And here we are in game 4. If it went to 5 in that rally score, it'd be interesting to see what would happen.
Of course, as we wait right here, we're also seeing an awful lot of sweaty players, and right now the court crew's out there doing some serious cleaning up about 9 different places on the court.
Okay, time's back in here. Stanford serving, trailing 8-9. Papaleo. A little bit of a low set by Ball. Puts the ball across the middle blocker. Junkie's body. Couldn't get to it. Ties it up 9-9. John Kuzmelovich for the Cardinals serving. Great pass outside to Almodovar. Ball is hit out of bounds on a great dish outside. Just attempted to cut it too close and hit wide, Wes. And here we had a couple quick plays, and now they're trailing. Stanford goes 10-9.
At this point, you just never want to give up more than 2 points at a time. And they're not going to have to worry about that as Volinovic serves out of bounds.
Service by Quentin Spiegel for the Mastodons. Great pass by Blackman. Backcourt attack.
I'm not sure if the serving is just not quite as good, but both teams are passing the ball pretty well right now, able to run their offense.
I think Stanford's had to back off a little bit from their serving. They're not serving too strong, so that makes your serve a little weaker and helps IPFW's passing. Spiegel again. Spiegel has been a highlight of IPFW, without a doubt. Played these last 3 games out of the 4-game match and basically has helped to carry him.
Spiegel, after game 2, had 1 kill.
Ball off of backcourt kill. Canyon Seaman going way back. Papaleo. Spiegel, just as soon as we talk about him, he comes back with an error. I guess we maybe jinxed him. 11-9.
Arnie Ball is going to call a timeout here as we get down to crunch time for the Mastodons.
That's their last timeout, so anything from here to slow the game down, he's going to have to sub or sweat a lot, one of the two.
You know, it's interesting, for Stanford, they never let up. Those guys, Goss and Blackman and so forth, they just keep going after it every time. As we see Stanford serving right here. Papaleo stepping in for the pass. Jump set by Ball to the backside here to Spiegel. And one of the few hitting errors Spiegel's made during this match. But you got to go to what you're successful at.
That's right. You have to keep going with what got you there, and I'd even come back to him again because he's played so steady that you know, one error should not cause any problems at this point in his psyche because he's been playing so well. See what happens after this timeout. Canyon Seaman, All-American setter for Stanford, back serving very deep. Very crucial point in this match.
There's the type of pass they wanted right there. Ball. I know Stanford had to be looking for that type of play right there, but the perfect pass about 4 feet above the net. And good night.
They had Ryan Moose in the middle, couldn't even reach the ball. Straight down by Ball. And here we go again. Goss coming back with a flag ball. Flags it out of bounds bad. Gets back to 11-10, leading by 1 Stanford.
Great overpass. Seaman was another one of those type of sets.
Very low set by Seaman, and Burkhart could do nothing with it, right off his ear and hits it long. Really undersetting Burkhart there.
Yeah, they sure are. Suddenly Stanford's presented with a problem here as they've lost 2 straight points.
The timeout paid off for Arnie Ball and his IPFW Mastodons. Burkhart comes back, they get the ball up to him, and he puts it down. Says, get me the ball where I can do something with it, and I'll put it on the floor. put it at my ear and I'll hit it out of bounds.
And our court patrol's back out there for another major sweep. So there'll be a couple moments here before Burkhardt will get the chance to serve.
Again, coaches have been known to do that quite regularly, just to slow it down, to kind of freeze the server.
Arnie Ball kind of giving a look of, well, maybe that's what we're doing.
Lloyd Ball puts the ball almost straight down, puts it almost in Ryan Moo's ear.
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that really it's not been a factor in this match until the end of game 4.
Yeah, right now it's starting to come into being. Anything tight, they're just kind of flat-footed. Stanford is, and Loy's up there at about 11 foot. One of the few blocks out of the middle. Day and Papaleo gives IPFW 11 or 12-11 lead, and we've got Ball serving, which is again their strongest point scoring rotation without a doubt. Crowd's starting to get into it now, Wes.
You know, an interesting thing with Ball, we mentioned about the tip shot there, not using it much. You know, players are getting tired on both sides of the net, and he's, you know, rising up there so high like that. It probably is a benefit at this point because there are some tired legs.
Yeah, all that jumping you do, and as I say, here we are, and all of them went like 15-11, and we're into this one 11-12, so that's a lot of jumps, hits, and a lot of volleyball. And if you haven't gotten much rest, they tend not to take off or be as explosive, and you get caught standing and watching a little bit more.
And you know, you come into these, you watch IPFW here, get this side out, go to a familiar face right there, Papaleo. Good night.
Almost in Ryan Moo's ear. Just really a sharp angle there by Lloyd Ball. Tremendous, tremendous shot. Lloyd Ball serving after timeout. After last timeout, IPFW came back strong. They were trailing at that point 11-9, and now they're ahead 12-11. Goss off the top.
Tough play there. Probably a play that if Ball had stayed away from, Junkie would have brought up.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things I think to learn in volleyball, is that you really have to depend on everybody playing their position. When you start to overplay, quite often all you do is mess up somebody else's easy play. And Lloyd, being the competitor he is, didn't want the ball to hit the floor and kind of cut in front of Junkie.
I think we're into a real chess match at this point.
Real shootout. Great pass. And heel out of the middle, Spiegel. The guy Spiegel again. Puts the ball right down in front of John Bezmalovic.
And here come the two subs that helped them get going at the end of game 2 and into game 3.
Yeah, Felipe Raylat in on the front court for Junkie, and that's a good move. Raylat's a much taller blocker than Junkie was. And on the back court, we're getting Ortiz in to serve. Backcourt specialist coming in for IPFW. See what types of moves these create, Wes.
Well, you wanted some more blocking, and he got a good deflection block right there.
Spiegel, nice dig by Moose. Here we go to Blackman. Hey, money man. What a shot.
Great shot right there. Blockers move inside, he goes straight down the line.
What a shot, right down the line, hit foot of the player in the backcourt. Here's Dave Goss serving. Great pass by Papaleo. Spiegel unloads.
I think you might say Spiegel's playing at least for this tournament, an All-American mode.
I think he's playing at that without a doubt. He really has been an impact player for IPFW.
And he's been consistent. You know, he's come on strong, and he's just played at a one level the whole time.
Papaleo to serve. Blackman again. They're going to go to Blackman. They're going to live and die on Blackman.
And there's another guy playing at one level too.
You're not kidding.
A very high level.
He is an All-American, and with the USA national team training. John Bezmalovic serving. Little trouble on the pass. Unload. Norman Almodovar putting the ball on the floor. Sub back into the lineup. Eric Wells in for Stanford. Blackman pulling all types of shots out of his pocket. Nice little off-speed roll. He's on the back court. See what who they go to now up there. They've got basically Burkhart and Moose to go to, or back court. Ball again.
Great shot by Ball right there.
And that ball's tight at the top of the net. The speed with which, because he doesn't have to even hardly jump, can reach up and get that ball down, really throws the block off. Service error.
You know, we're in quite a kind of a war right here. I don't think, you know, listening audience may not realize that usually you don't see a semifinal match over the years played at quite this level right here. Usually, you know, the California team thinks we're going to come in and go 3-0, 3-1 pretty easily. And this is a real war.
It's been a long one. We've been here on 12-11 for quite a while. Just as soon as we say that, in comes Burkhart with a kill, and we go back now 12-12. And all at once we got all that magical water back on Fort Wayne's side. I think Fort Wayne's side has a little more water maybe than Stanford here. Stanford has yet to wipe that floor up. Seaman not liking the toss that he gave himself, gets one more. And it goes out.
I'll tell you, he has had more service there these last two games. You might want to scratch that jump serve for a while.
12-12, game 4 with Stanford leading 2-1. Overpass, nice block by Papaleo.
Papaleo did a great job there of knowing that Seaman was not going to be a blocker in that front row because he's in the back row.
Exactly. He could have been drawn into the net there, Papaleo, if he would not have known that Seaman was in the back row. Ooh, another ace. Another ace. 14-12, two quick ones. Bang, bang.
IPFW on the verge of sending this to game 5.
I think we've got about 5,711 fans standing on their feet right now. Now we got them sitting down after a service error.
Well, let's put it this way. Norman got them to where they're at. You got to go for it.
Burkhart now serving. Seaman still in the back row, so 3 attackers for Stanford.
Good pass.
Ball. Papaleo outside, no attacker. And the kill by Dave Goss.
That whole play, the whole play right there developed when Loy Ball took that first pass and ended up without a setter to set the ball.
Yeah, and then they set the ball on the next one to outside, and they did not have a left side hitter due to their blocking switches they had.
Joe Burkhart, the 6'5" sophomore, will serve.
Crucial point. Great pass. Goes back to Day after Day couldn't connect on the last one. Day doesn't on this one. Gets their side out. Here's good rotation for IPFW. Ball's back serving. Loy Ball, been their most potent offensive rotation for the Mastodons. Holy cow on the floor. Ball game, we go into 5, 15-13. Loy Ball with a service ace in game 4, and we'll go to rally scoring, Wes. You want to explain that rally scoring out?
Yeah, we're going to the 5th game anymore in NCAA volleyball. The 5th game, every serve is at point, regardless of the team serving. And there's a 17-point cap, so if we get to a 16-off situation, whoever wins that particular point, no matter who serves, wins the game. So we're down to what I think has made volleyball really exciting at the NCAA level.
Let's look at this ace. This is the game-winning jump serve ace to the floor by Loy Ball.
You go to your man, and he produces.
Puts it there. They've scored more points with Loy serving than any other rotation. That really has gotten them back into the game. In game 3, where he started to ran some, and since then, that's been a good rotation, and they've really gotten back into this match. Anything can happen in a 5-gamer, West.
Yeah, that's think back at one point, IPFW is down 2-0. they do not lose their composure right there. A real tribute probably to Coach Arnie Ball being able to convince his players and have them confident enough to believe they can still win. And we're going to Game 5. In Game 5, it's going to be a tough call with Stanford. They've got all these players that just put the ball away every time. And you got right now IPFW doing the same thing. So this could be a real slugfest.
Yeah, a good side-out team is going to score a lot of points. So that's a real strength that you point out for Stanford. If you can side out, that's an immediate point for you no matter who is serving. I think one thing probably that has helped Fort Wayne this year is that they played 12 West Coast teams, Wes, and because of that, they've got a lot of confidence. And as you pointed out, didn't fold after losing 2 straight. And against the West Coast teams, they were 8-4. Early in the year, they faced several West Coast teams, and then they made a West Coast trip at spring break, and they're 8-4.
Well, I think what's happened here is that's going to give you an awful lot of confidence. And over the years, I think the players across the country have become better, no matter where you're from. I just think that there's still more good teams out in California. And Arnie Ball, realizing this, has brought teams in. He's gone and visited California any way he could to get as many matches under his belt against the best competition. An 8-4 record, shows that they're capable of playing against anybody, and they're showing it right here. We're 1 game away from an NCAA finals, and it's only happened twice in NCAA history, in 77 with Ohio State reaching the final, and in 82 with Penn State reaching the final. Exactly.
It would be a real feather in IPFW's hat were they to be able to get there. And Arnie's involvement with the national team and with coaching the National Sports Festival teams as a head coach, and 2 times, one as assistant, one as head coach of the World University Games, really does help IPFW, because they know a lot of those California players who play in those tournaments. So all of that goes together to make a very successful program, and Arnie's done that, and Arnie's a Ball State graduate back here at home, and so is his assistant Denny Johnson.
As we prepare for Game 5, Quentin Spiegel, a big story here for the Mastodons. 1 kill after Game 2. 14 kills after Game 4, so he's been a real factor here in the course of the match. Interesting situation. We don't know who won the serve. Generally, you tend to want to receive the serve in the first play, but either way, IPFW is going to their money man here, at least in the serving department in Game 4. Loy Ball back to serve.
It's a regular shootout. This is going to be an exciting one here. Rally scoring in Game 5. With Loy Ball back to serve after serving game point ace in Game 4 to get him to this point. And first point goes to IPFW. Not a very good set to Burkhart. And the ball was tight to begin with for Seaman, so it's pretty tough to set that ball, but Burkhart gets it right in the net. Ball. That's a point. Service error is a point, so he just was a basically washout there.
Anytime you can get a serve point to start off with, you're in good shape, because right now IPFW should be in control of this particular point, because they are passing, setting, and hitting the ball.
Papaleo rejected, but Fort Wayne keeps the ball in play. Little miscommunication as Papaleo swing outside to the left side and got right in front of Spiegel. 2-1 lead for...
Big break right there for the Mastodons as Burkhart serves in the net.
Those service errors are immediate points for the opponent, so that'll really have a bearing probably on this game, especially with Stanford not doing too well.
Ooh's kind of out of nowhere right there with that left hand. Great kill.
I think he's probably been about the steadiest player for Stanford all night long. Probably one of their unsung heroes. Great pass back to Papaleo. Papaleo off of Blackman's hands.
IPFW's got to be feeling pretty good about this. They're 1 rotation away from getting ball into the front row, where he was awfully successful here late in the match.
Right now, they can't go wrong wherever ball's going. Backcourt, they're doing all right when he's in the front court. Blackman with off-speed shot. Gets a couple of the blockers hanging for IPFW, and they reach for it and block it out of bounds. Dave Goss back to serve, leading 4-3 in rally scoring of Game 5. Great attempt saved by Ball, but couldn't save it. two-point lead in a rally scoring really is a pretty commanding one. It's pretty tough to come back from sometimes. Kill by Junkie.
At this point in the match, that was the key play of the game, because a 6-3 deficit with a side-out team like Stanford would have been awful tough to overcome. So that's the first key of this game, and that's the second key right there. Is you just don't serve out of bounds in a big match like this.
No, that really hurts. That's like giving a point to the other team, which is exactly what you do when you should have a little bit of advantage, at least with the serve. 6-4 lead, Stanford, game 5, rally scoring. Advantage Stanford. And hitting air by Spiegel.
Arnie Ball will have to take a timeout here, probably.
Yeah, calls timeout. We've had a couple of serving errors and a couple of hitting errors here, and those are immediate points no matter what happens, whether you're serving or receiving in a rally scoring. If you can't get the ball over, basically it's a point the other team.
Arnie Ball here doing an interesting thing. He's kind of putting it all in the players' hands here right now in the particular huddle right there, trying to get them, motivated.
Here's the last point that we just saw.
Tough call there. Norman stepping in front of Papaleo. Spiegel unable to capitalize right here.
Gets long. Tough angle for Spiegel to hit at, but that started with that bad pass, really, Wes.
Yeah, you're in a situation now to understand the rally score game. If Stanford just plays side-out volleyball the rest of the game, the match is over.
They win. And they're a good side-out team, so that really makes it tough when you're playing a side-out team. By that we mean he's able to pass set and put the ball down when the other team's serving.
And their main side-out man right now has been Blackman here the last couple games. Goss has not been quite as effective in the back row.
Still not passing too well for Fort Wayne. Stuff block all by himself by the setter, Canyon Seaman. Makes it 8-4 as the teams change sides. 8-4 in rally scoring. Without a doubt, Fort Wayne's got their work cut out for them.
Well, you're certainly going to have to reach into the magic basket right now to come up with some way to win this game. It's going to take certainly a couple errors by Stanford or a couple great blocks and defensive plays by the Mastodons.
Yeah, and we've got Ball here in the left front position. He won't get around to serve for 3 more rotations, so can't take advantage of what has been a strong point of his serving right now.
Actually, they're in a really tough offensive situation right now in that rotation they're in.
Blackman with a kill right off of Almondovar's back. They're taking definite command in this 5th game. 9-4 lead. Nice serve and attack, getting blocked again. The block's really coming through for Stanford right now. Stanford. Another block on Almondovar.
Burkhardt there with a great block, trying to hit inside with Almondovar, and Burkhardt got him.
10-4 lead. Timeout. Timeout again to IPFW. The blocking has picked up about 15 notches here by Stanford at this point.
No, it sure has. Of course, then the other thing, as a hitter, you're going up there, you don't want to make an error, so you're probably going to maybe draw in your hitting range just a little bit, and that block's going to be right there in the middle of the court, and I think that could be what's happening at this point in time.
The other thing that's changed around is that Stanford right now is not killing themselves with service errors. They had the one, but they've been serving pretty strong and yet not causing any errors. That could turn it around, as you pointed out.
We'll take a look right here. Ball going to his weapon back there. Spiegel gets blocked. Papaleo will step in here for the outside set. And one more block for Burkhardt.
John Bezmalovic back to serve. Papaleo with a perfect pass. Junkie with a very fast arm kill. Ball hung there.
They're going to turn it around. It has to be right now, because if it gets up around 12, 13, you're in a real bad hole.
They've got to play defense here. They've got to make some good blocks, or they got to dig a ball. It's the only way they're going to do it. Got to play some defense.
Well, you got Day up there and Ball right now. Two pretty dominating blockers here in games 3 and 4.
Advantage. The crowd attempting to give the official a little help on calls again. Gets point 11 for Stanford as they side out. Blackman now on the backcourt. Blackman serving. Good serve, nice save. Almodovar with a kill off of Seaman. Gets a point.
Still keeping that breath alive right now.
Again, they've got to do something on defense.
I think right now they may have what is their best offensive setup right here with Spiegel in the back row and Papaleo in the front with ball.
There's the same play we've seen all night long. You'd think by now that they'd pick that one up, but Moose just sneaks right around and gets that kill time and time again. 12-6, very commanding lead with Seaman back, who's not been a strong server all night. Pressure's getting to IPFW at this point. Papaleo with the kill. Ball serving now. He's back in their strong rotation as far as serving. Got a substitute for IPFW. Bringing Collins back in. Collins hasn't been in for a couple games now. Played a couple of real strong early games, been out because Spiegel has played so well. Spiegel going out, and in comes Collins.
What they need right now is just a terminating block.
And all they get is a service error. Gives 13, gives a point to Stanford. 13-7, as you said. You get there, ball game's just about basically all over. Especially against a team such as Stanford. Neil Day, definite statement there, putting the ball on the floor. Ortiz coming in for Day, backcourt specialist.
Pressure really comes into play in these games here. Down 13-8, this serve goes into the net. It's a point. It stays in play, you got an opportunity to score.
Jump serve. And a kill by John Bezmalovic. Here's a side-out ball by Stanford, and basically what's been their strength is getting them 4 5-game matches. That's been a turnaround for them this year. Last year they did not win any 5-game matches. This year they're 4-0 in 5-game matches. This will make them 5-0. Kill by Junkie, keeps it alive. However, this play could end the match if Stanford can side out.
Arnie's still trying to put in whatever kind of block he can, the biggest block he can right now to try and stop the Cardinal.
Papaleo with the serve. Basically just keeping it in play. Attack error by Blackman. But what you basically have to do now is to serve all the way out. They side out, you're over. And the match is over with the kill by Blackman. Duncan Blackman dashes the hopes of the IPFW Mastodons, who came back from a 2-0 deficit, played really tremendous ball, won the third game 15-11, won the fourth game 15-13, and then in rally scoring lost the final game 15-11, 15-10.
Said fans here really saw a tremendous volleyball match here played between two great teams. The #1 ranked team in the country, the Stanford Cardinal, defeating IPFW in a 5-game thriller. Here's the final point right here. Raul Papaleo serving the ball. Nice pass by Stanford, and they go to the man that got him there, Duncan Blackman, for the victory.
Yeah, Blackman was really a competitor. They have a couple competitors. I didn't think Dave Goss played nearly as well this evening as what I thought he might, but Blackman played steady, and so did Moose. Moose played tremendous steady, and of course the All-American setter Canyon Seaman saved many of play, Wes.
So we end up with the NCAA finals against Pepperdine and another West Coast school, Stanford, for the championship.
Right, this will be the 23rd championship, and we have two West Coast schools again into the finals, and we have Fort Wayne, who will be playing Penn State, and have defeated Penn State several times this year, 3 times this year. So it will be a replay of several meetings of them. Okay, from University Arena on the campus of Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, this has been an NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship semifinal match. Stanford advances to the final in a 5-game match over IPFW Fort Wayne and will play for the national title.